Good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you may be watching this transmission. And this was sent to me by the Raven early this morning. I brought it up on Morning Can't Read Market Talk. Guys, if you're up, not sure what it is in your time zone, but I have a show every morning. I've been streaming live called Morning Can't Read Market Talk, and it's actually doing well, believe it or not. So today we talked about oil, kalak, lak, boom. All right, now oil, shalak, lak, boom. So oil, boom. I've been raving about, and I've been talking about, and I've been preaching about. America can't survive on a $50 oil barrel. Something's gonna have to happen sometime. So we'll see what happens. I'm actually watching the Australian markets right now. Been following the Australian markets right now. It's got a couple hours left till they close, and oil has been dipping. So it looks like we're going to be below the $60 mark again by the end of the market when it closes in 4 hours. Not too sure what's going to happen if it rallies again tomorrow. Not too sure. Anyways, guys, this is a big one. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and guys, don't forget to support me on Patreon. Be number 17 on Patreon. I got 16 Patreon supporters that are supporting this transmission. Don't pay till you die. Reverse mortgages are booming in Canada. The desperation is out of hand, and people are borrowing to meet consumption, and that's the problem. The whole keeping up with the Joneses thing is done. It's over. That was done in 2017. That's gone. It's over. Padre Filiz Espiritu Santiago, amen. It's over. Okay, it's done. So the Jones thing is done. Now people are now having to maintain. I had a conversation with some kid in my store. I go, how much you buy your car for? 17 grand. Okay, what's the interest rate? 8.9%. What kind of car is it? It's a 2010 Lancer. I'm like, oh, who'd you get it from? A dealer. Yeah, so people jumping into these things, and they know they can't afford it. And the people lending them the money, or the banks that are financing, know they can't make it. So it's very heartbreaking when you see that. Don't pay till you die. Reverse mortgages are booming in Canada. I'm pretty sure they're booming in Australia, New Zealand, the United Kingdom. I'm pretty sure it's booming all over. But the best way I could explain this is from a timeless song. No, you can't always get what you want. You can't always get what you want. But if you try sometime, you find you get what you need. Yeah, Rolling Stones couldn't have said it any better, but that's what's happening right now. So let's read this. Reverse mortgages. Reverse mortgages are surging in Canada as more older people join the country's debt bandwagon. So what's happening? There's too many people going into retirement with a mortgage, and that is dangerous. If you are 55 and older, you know those commercials, eh? Are you 65 and older? Do you own your house? Well, I got a message for you. Go get the freedom you like and play your golf, because we will be more than happy to finance that for you, and then we just take your property, and that's how it works. If you're 55 or older, you could borrow as much as 55% of the value of your home. No, let's do it like this. If you're 55 or older, and it's 2 o'clock in the morning and you're up watching this infomercial, then you could borrow as much as 55% of value to your home. And then it goes into principal and compound interest don't have to be paid back until you sell your home. Uh-oh. Or die. To keep the loan in good standing, homeowners only need to pay the property tax and insurance and maintain the home in good repair. We've only been in this market for 18 months, but applications are jumping and have tripled in the past year. Andrew Moore, chief executive of Equitable Group, Inc., said in an interview, the company which operates Equitable Bank sees the reverse mortgage sector expanding by about 25%. Canadians are getting older, and there is an opportunity there. Yes, there is, but there isn't. Because then if they outlive a certain age or something, I don't know what happens, because there's a lot of fine print in these things. So you got to be super careful with the fine print, my friends. Outstanding balances on reverse mortgages have been more than doubled in less than 4 years at 3.12 billion, excluding foreign currency amounts, according to the June data from the country's banking regulator. Although they represent less than 1 percentage point of the 1.2 trillion of residential mortgages issued by the chartered banks, they're growing at much faster pace. Reverse mortgages rose 22% in June for the same month a year earlier versus the 4.8% for the total market. The fact that these niche products are growing so quickly offers a glimpse into how some seniors are becoming part of Canada's new debt reality. After a decades-long housing boom, the nation has the highest household debt load in the group of 7. One reason Bank of Canada Governor Stephanopoulos may be reluctant to join the global monetary policy easing trend. Oh, sure, just do that. Go to some global monetary policy. And you know what's going to happen? They're going to start doing austerity measures. Oh, let's cut back on the transit. Let's cut back on the whatchamacallits, the daycares. Let's cut back on this. Let's cut back on that. Everything gets cut back, right? Right. More seniors are entering retirement with debt, and that the cost of rent has shot up in many cities, making downsizing difficult amid the real estate markets. Reverse mortgage offers a new source of income. Canada's big 5 banks have so far shied away from the product. Only 2 lenders offer them in Canada. Home Equity Bank, whose reverse mortgage have been in the market for 30 years, dominates the space with $3.11 billion on its books. Equitable Bank, a relatively new player, has $10.1 million. Shares in parent Equitable Group have surged 75% to a record this year. That's a good company to look at. To short when the market crashes. Critics say reverse mortgages are a high-cost solution that should only be as a last resort. When they think their cash flow, they're not going to get kicked out of their house. But in reality, it really has the ability to erode the asset of the borrower. Sean Stillman, a banker mortgage outlet, said on phone from Toronto. So this is very dangerous, you know what I'm saying? It's extremely dangerous because we're starting to play and manipulate things we never did before, okay? There's been reverse mortgages, like that company's been around for 30 years, but it wasn't that the masses are doing it, right? It wasn't a mass thing, you know? I know a guy that reverse mortgaged his house. Well, I wasn't alive then, but in the 60s, he reversed mortgaged his house to buy a small steel company, okay? That's different, all right? People are reverse mortgaging their house now so they could buy food. That's the scary part. A basic necessity of food and electricity shouldn't be like, oh, I gotta take more money from my house to pay my electricity. Why? You should. And all these seniors getting into pension territory and full retirement and stay home retirement. Yeah. Interest rates are typically much higher than those of conventional mortgages. For example, Home Equity Bank and Equitable Bank charge 5.74% for a 5-year fixed mortgage. Conventional 5-year fixed mortgages are currently being offered online for as low as 2.4%. Atul Chadadra, Chief Financial Officer of Home Equity Bank, said the higher rates are justified because the lender doesn't receive any payments over the course of the loan. But this eats up at the equity of the house a lot faster, people, so watch out. Our time horizon for getting the cash is much longer. And generally, the longer you wait for your cash to come back to you, the more you need to charge, Chandra said in a telephone interview. Yeah, that's how it is. Like, imagine you owe the mob money, right? That VIG they're charging you, it's just compiling and piling and piling. So, I mean, it's like basically, it's always going to be creeping on the back of your mind, right? It's always something that's going to be creeping around you in your thoughts, right? But what does one do to eat? What does one do not to be in a homeless shelter, right? What does one do, to not lose their house because they can't pay the property taxes? I know people who've taken reverse mortgages on their house just to pay their property tax, right? So, or second mortgages or lines of credit just to pay property tax. Executives at the Home Equity Bank and Equitable say they are forcing on educating people about reverse mortgages to avoid mistakes that were made in the U.S. during the housing crisis, including aggressive sales tactics. Yeah, because remember, there's always follow the money trail, and there's always commissions to be made on these. Woo! While delinquency rates on regular mortgages are still low for seniors, they were the highest among all age groups in the first quarter at 0.36%, according to the data from the Federal Housing Agency. The 65-plus demographic took over most delinquent group at the end of 2015. For non-mortgage debt, delinquency rates in the 65-plus category have seen the biggest increases over the past several quarters, Equifax data shows. So Equifax is really good. Equifax is basically the credit score company, or the company that keeps track of your credit score. And it's a big business, Equifax. And what they do is they check for inquiries, gaps on file. They check for when you move. They update your address to your credit file that matches your SIN. So it's a good thing to always make sure your credit is always in checks. But Equifax is the best source you could go to when it comes to who's paying their debts. People getting a phone call and asking a questionnaire about debts, and they asked 1,000 Canadians. That doesn't really work, right? It really works when you look at the numbers, the raw numbers from the credit bureau company, the company that actually tracks everything, right? Reverse mortgages aren't included in typical delinquencies. Rate measures borrowers can't be late on payments because there are no payments, but they can be in default. If they fail to pay taxes or insurance, or let the home fall into despair. However, default rates for reverse mortgages have remained stable, even with the strong growth in volumes, said Home Equity's Chandra. According to the scenario provided by Home Equity Bank, a borrower who took out a reverse mortgage at 150 large, at the interest rate of 5.74%, would owe $199,058 5 years later. So let's say you're 70, you take it out, you live to 75, you already owe like 50 large, and then but then there's compound, the interest grows on that 199. Another 5 years, you owe 270 something. So yeah, a home worth $750, but the reverse mortgage was taken out, would be worth $869,456 5 years later, assuming the 3% annual home price appreciation, meaning the total equity would have grown about 70 large. Here's the problem with that: the home needs to continue going up, because if it don't go up, guess what? These guys are gonna renege on it and just take your home away. Oh, we're gonna call in. Legally, you actually sign in one of the documents. I'm not sure which one it is, but in one of the documents, I'm not sure if it's the lien to title record confirmation signature. There's one document in there. I'm just trying to think what document it's called. I know the names of the documents. There's one document in there that actually asks, that you sign, that gives permission to the lender to call in the loan at any time they want. Yep. There's a clause. I have to remember I know the name. It's the exposure or something. Retraction. There's about when you do one of these, there's about 16 documents to sign. And I know there's one that actually, in one of the boxes that you sign, an initial, basically allows them to call back the loan at any time they feel like. So just be really careful, because if the home values do continue to drop, in a lot of cities they are, that's going to be a huge problem, because the middle class isn't making any money. And the problem is the younger people are borrowing more to meet their consumption. And they're trying to play this off. Governments are trying to play this off. Oh, this generation is much more comfortable with credit, and more responsible with credit compared to the older generation. Yeah, right! Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Like, you serious? But I saw her at the reception with a glass of wine in her hand. I knew she would meet her connection. At her feet was a footloose man. No, you can't always get what you want. You can't always get what you want. Yeah, but now it's not about getting those things. It's not about getting the boat anymore. The whole keeping up with the Joneses is over since 2017. It's, I need to eat now. That's the problem. So everybody, when I kept saying, everybody will be affected by this housing crisis. Whether you own your house in free and clear, you're a senior going into retirement, whether you're couch surfing and you don't have a place to be, whether you're homeless. Oh, Mike, I'm homeless. This housing thing doesn't affect me. It does, because you're homeless. Wake up. Anyways, I'm renting. This doesn't affect me. Your rent's going to go up when interest rates go up. And if interest rates go down, buddy's going to use more equity in his house. You're screwed either way. Anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. It's been a long day. I'm tired, guys. It's been a really long day. Don't pay till you die. Reverse mortgages are booming in Canada. Let me know if this is happening in your neck of the woods. If you're in Australia, New Zealand, United Kingdom, or the United States of America. Thanks for watching, and big hug to everyone. And don't forget to go ahead and share one of my videos. Support this transmission on Patreon. And keep this thing going. Let's check out the Australian markets here real quick. Ooh, Australian dollar is dropping again. It's going to probably hit the 67 cent mark here. ASX is down. Gold is still sitting above 1,500. Oil's down already, 127. It might go into the $59 territory before the Australian markets close in 4 hours. Bitcoin's doing okay, over 10K US. Yeah, so I'm keeping an eye on the Australian markets for you guys, so we know what's going on when the markets open here in the northwestern hemisphere. Thanks for watching, guys, and have a great evening.